Okay, like I said, I don't think anyone's really even watching these anyway, so I just might as well just jump into it. E-drums. Um, they've evolved a lot from their Simmons and their original format that they came in, like the octagon shaped pads. Pearl was originally a really big, not big, but they were one of the first ones that started working. So if we're going to talk about that, we might as well talk a little bit about MIDI and how Greed screwed MIDI 1.0 over before, and they're about to have MIDI 2.0 coming out, which I will have to commend them on one thing. Is yeah, anyways, we'll get there. So we got to rewind time back to about 70s, 80s when MIDI's invented, and as I said, if you can imagine a piano that doesn't make any sounds, but records how hard you hit each note, what note you hit, and how long you held it for. If there's a sustain pedal, if there whatever you're doing, it records all that stuff. If you're using modulation wheel or any of that stuff, pitch wheel, pitch bend, any of that stuff, it records all that. And so, damn it, this is what I'm looking for here. So, oh wow, I must have pre-planned. So, all right, so this was used in keyboards to then trigger synthesizers. Those synthesizers would synthesize pianos, strings, bass, whatever instrument you can imagine, drums, all that stuff. And so back in the day, you'd have this keyboard that didn't really have any sounds in it, but you could load sounds onto it. And so you had the keyboard that would control the notes. You could actually play it and load the sounds in. Where now you have more of like your computer or your tablet has those sounds, and then your MIDI keyboard can access those sounds and trigger those in near zero latency, like almost real time. Like as you hit the note, it's just like a little bit of delay. Ding, ding, ding. You know, you barely notice it. The player will notice it more than anybody else will, which is really cool because again, like I said, it can be anything, including drums. The good thing is that by making it the way that they did with MIDI, each note has a velocity. It records how hard you struck it, and it can record up to 127 different velocities from zero to ultimate max in a steady progression to lower, I mean, lower, to nothing, to no hit, which is zero. The cool thing about drums that drum machines got wrong quite often was there was no variation between a soft hit, a medium hit, and a hard hit. And if you actually listen to drums, like on the snare drum, you know what I mean? It has different tones and stuff, and without that in there, doesn't have the realism to. If you even had that in there, it's the more advanced Roland kits still have virtual kits inside of them. They don't have sampled kits yet. They're gonna go. They're gonna go. It's the only way to go. Really, it's gonna be the future because we'll get that. We'll get there soon enough. So they have virtual sounds in them, but they sound real. They sound good. They sound good. Um, but they're not real drums. But you can do more to the sound and tweak it more to your tasting and your flavoring. But something it always feels for the audience that's gotten used to like dance music and stuff. They probably wouldn't either know nor care. They probably neither know nor care if I was playing a MIDI guitar versus a real guitar. You know what I mean? Just those type of things that just just don't matter to the audience. It's more the sound and the feel. There's a lot of guitarists that argue amongst each other whether or not vintage. I mean, actual like solid hardware like amplifiers or digital amplifiers, and there's a simple answer. It's both. It's both. Now that AI can do whatever. I mean, it can solve whatever those little flaws where it doesn't. The digital doesn't sound quite like artificial. I mean, the like quite like the analog. AI is fixing like figuring out cures to diseases and stuff. And yeah. So how hard would it be to figure this out? I mean, that'd be kind of like a breeze for us. It's kind of like, yeah, you dumbass, you guys didn't select for this fucking the randomness of the analog, blah blah blah, and then puts it in there, and like you play the Gibson, probably the exact same. It just probably would recode like Amplitude or one of those other programs, and like, see, check it out now, and you show me like, oh shit, that does sound just like a fucking real thing. And it did sound fake before, but now it sounds, yeah. Fuck. Yeah, I can go back to fixing cancer for you guys now. You guys never give me a fucking break at all, but I mean, get enough of these Kurt Cobain hanging out with Tupac and Donald Trump in church. Things that would never happen. That's why you gotta make him an AI. Like Donald Trump hugging a living thing with compassion. Seriously, try and picture it. No? Not like a normal person. Not like a normal, like a. No. No. Okay. Yeah. In that kind of way, yeah. But then it's just like, what is wrong with you? Have you neither given nor received a hug? If so, that would explain a whole lot. I still don't feel bad for you because you still made the choices you made. So, the man of sin's been revealed. Isn't that awesome? That's how close we are to the end. Even if you don't understand it, it never said that you would have to, that the world would know, just that he'd be revealed. And the 130 pages that Jack Smith dropped, I guarantee you it's going to be enough that someone's going to do a deep dive through there and either misquote some shit or something, you know what I mean, to the point where there's gonna be like a redacted area, and like, we gotta know what's in that and they're gonna fucking, oh, you think they don't want to? You think they want to and give it to you unredacted? They want to. Guess who's fighting that? Yeah, chumpy, dumpy, flumpy, clumpy Trump. He's stopping it from happening. Why? Election interference. That's what he was claiming before. It's gonna hinder him during the election. This was an election interference to try and he won the election. What's the harm now? Well, we haven't manufactured the evidence to counteract whatever evidence you have, so we have to get into office so that we can get to the DOJ, so we can look over what you have on me, so I can manufacture some evidence to counter your story, or at least a story to counteract your evidence of what you have or what I did, so that way I can know what you did, and that way we can also say that you did that, not me, and then I can say that that's what Trump always does. I didn't do that. You did that. And for some reason, his fans all go, "Yeah, why'd you do that?" I know we watched him do it, But why did you make him? We are not in a cult. We are not in a cult. That's right. We are not in a cult. We are not in a cult. We are not a cult. Sorry, not in a cult would be too many syllables. We are not a cult. It'd be better if it we not cult. Because that's about the most they can do. Lock her up. Hang Mike Pence. They just don't seem to be able to do like the, 2, 3, 4. Let's tell them what we really came for. 5, 6, 7, 8. We want taxes at a lower rate. That kind of shit. 1, 2, 3. What was the next one? I don't remember what the next one was. Well, god damn it, I misspelled God on my sign. I thought it had 2 D's. Excuse me. Snoop Dogg has 2 G's, and he's the OG. Double D for a double dose of his pimping. You know what I mean? Like, fucking. Okay, I'm laughing too hard inside to think of the name of it. Fucking. Idiocracy. Which he spells thusly. With a double D for a double dose of his pimping. A square's love is not like a a pimp's love is not like a square's love. Okay, but it's a fascinating world. Upgrade. That's what it was. Upgrade. Which he spells thusly. All right, so E-drums, like it or not, it's the future. The people that are protesting and like, no, there's no way it's gonna take the place of the drums just have a feel and blah 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 blah. The convenience of E-drums is too awesome, and people go, well, you can't. All your complaints about the number of zones and you can't get this and you can't get that. You're complaining about the first refrigerator doesn't have ice cubes and water tray or a timer or connect to the Bluetooth. But does it chill your beverages? Yeah, we're getting to the rest of that. We're getting to that. The main thing was make sure that the cold stays in the top thing, and then drop the cold down to the bottom thing. So it cheapens the cost of how much it costs to cool the bottom stuff. Is that working? Yeah. Now we'll start working from the framework on what else would be cool on this thing. You were saying something about an ice cube maker? I mean, we're making ice. That would be a cool idea. What were you saying about that? Right, and then if we had it done, could also do water in the thing. Yeah, because anything else like tea and coffee, but you have to like clean it. So yeah, no, just water. Yeah, we could do something like that. That'd be easy to put in there. We need a timer for. Isn't this in the kitchen? Don't you have a timer? In case you don't, fuck it. We'll put a timer in there. The fuck is Bluetooth? Oh, dude, that's coming down the road, dude. What are you complaining now? You know what I mean? That's kind of what you sound like when your E-drums can't do this. They don't feel right. Yeah, right now. And the best thing for you to do would be to help to make it towards a more accurate. So, like, let's say, for example, just trigger for some of the best drummers in the world out there. Try to go from 0 strength of hitting it, or like the lightest hit you can to the hardest hit you can. Matter of fact, record it and see how many actual, and then you can look at the spikes and see how actually many individual ones you actually got that were actually different. And then come back and try it again with the other hand. Try and get more, and then get one more time and try and get with this hand and try and get as many as you can. And if there's any duplicates, what you have is called a round robin. So that way, if I hit it one time at fucking velocity of 50, and then I hit again at another time of 50, it's got now 2 or 3 different ones I can choose from. The one that I made with my left hand at 50 velocity, and the third one I did with the right hand going through and making another stack. The main stack, and then there's these backup stacks of round robins, and there's another stack with the left hand. You have how many ever you do have round robins for that. But the best thing to do would be to actually count how many you can get, how many you can actually get. Like if I know I tried, and the most I could actually get was about 25, 30. And then I tried again and got maybe like 35. Actual, the ones I could tell were different velocities going up and striking force and shit. I'm no pro. I mean, I guarantee you, Dave Abraziz or someone like that would be able to get, 60, 70 easy that they could probably hear. But look at, with 127 possible, let's say it's 50 velocities of recording. So we can just cut those and get those out of there, and or make more round robins for more variety for those 70s. You see what I'm saying? And so that would be a way to help, rather than to go, this isn't right, and just walk away from it. What's not right? Well, those heads don't feel okay. Well, I mean, what can we do? I don't know. You're the engineer, and you walk away, and like, fucking give us some hints to ways. I don't know what you mean by it. It feels too bouncy. I understand what you mean by that, but I don't. I mean, solving it, and whereas someone sits down behind it and goes, it feels a bit bouncy, but I mean, they might not be like a pro drummer, or they may be a semi, but they're going to have input on what the future of these drums are going to be like, and you're going to have no say so. And then eventually, like, drummer needed, must have electronic kit. No, that's not the way it's going to be, because, I mean, these are way more quiet. Versus, but when I put these headphones on, it's the same loudness as I need to be. Same with my guitars, they're virtual amplifiers. No one has to. We can, with the equipment I have in this room, I could set up like 3 or 4 people to jam. Drums, guitars, vocals, at least 2 guitars, a bass, and we would be jamming loud as fuck in the headphones, and no one else, everybody else outside would hear. But inside here, because I've got virtual drums, I got E-drum kit, and I trigger BFD, and BFD has like just the best drum sounds, because they didn't try to flavor the sounds; they just recorded them in awesome sound settings, and then you can tweak them on your own at your house, however you feel like. You can just run effects on it. It comes with effects built in that you can put on each individual instrument, and then you can also, depending on your DAW, run each piece out to its own, like a regular drum, like a regular kit. So the toms are on their own thing. You can even control how much bleed between tom and snare and all that stuff. It's nuts how much snare ring on the bottom, the how long the kick decays. It's as far, like I said, as far as a producer is trying to get like actual quality. It just can't beat BFD3, especially before it was taken over. But they're more bowing down to, instead of leading the way, they are more bowing down to what people really are currently asking for. And I've tried to point out to them the reason why they're failing is because they're selling to the wrong market. They're trying to sell like how Easy Drummer and there's other ones that are, you know what I mean, they're kind of industry standard because that's what people have at home. TuneTrack, Easy Drummer, and there's another drum program that sounds really good, but the reason I don't like it is because it comes pre-seasoned. The snares and stuff and kicks they're all designed to, like, when you go to use it, it already fits in the mix. And while that saves a lot of time because it's easy, anything worth doing isn't fucking easy. So I'd rather have the original sound of the drums and then sculpt it to my song that I'm working on right now. Rather than you say, okay, you're working in metal genre, here's the drum kit that will work in your mix. And it'll fit in the mix. It really will. But it will never be my. Even if I tweak it out a bit from there, it will never be like mine. This is when I work with BFD, it's more like mine. But the great thing is, like, the producers that did it were like Ken Scott, Alan Parsons, Andy Johns, Joe Barresi, whatever it is. I want to say John Emmerich. That's his name. I know they recorded in like Ocean Way Studio. They recorded in Sound City. They recorded in Players. No, that's just Jim. That's Jim Scott. He's the one that did Players. So, and he did some in Sound City. Not the only one. Joe Barresi did a couple in Sound City also. And man, they sound fucking good. There's just something about that place, man. That place sounds so good. But so one of my first experiences with E-drums was way back in the 90s. It was either a Yamaha or a Roland. It was those old rubber pad style ones. At that time, I really wasn't into electronics, but I saw it and I wanted to, like, you know, I could play a kit and I wanted to be like, see, this is why this thing sucks and this is why it's not going anywhere. And I wanted to listen to it and be like, see, it's garbage. And I sat down and played it and I was like, that was actually pretty cool. That was actually really cool. And you could change like Latin percussion and stuff, and you know what I mean. It was pretty cool. And I was like, you mean I can just hit any of these pads and it can just be any fucking thing? Yeah, you can just change whatever, as long as it's in the sound bank. You can change it to whatever. Damn it, I kind of like that. That's kind of cool. Ooh, that means I could reamp my drums the way I reamp my guitar. Yeah, technically. Oh, so I could change the kick drum later, or like run it back through like 2 or 3 times and just get like different kick drums until I stack enough that, yeah, you could do that. Oh, yeah, I gotta get one of those. But I ended up getting like a Yamaha DD55. It's a little small. It's like a little pentagon kind of shit. No, it's a bond three hexagon kind of shaped, but it's more like a diamond type hexagon. So basically, I had like a hi hat in the center, a ride on the side, and a crash. It just was all out of play. It wasn't really all that great, but I mean, it did trigger my drum machine. And at the time, I couldn't play drums well enough to really like. I mean, I could play them to keep beat, but I wasn't a solid. I mean, which would be easy to like record the drums down in to this machine that could record how hard I hit the notes, what notes I hit, and then align it to the grid better than I can. So like even if as it's coming in real time, it can align it to the grid and quantize it, so that way, if I'm a little bit later early, it'll shift it up to the right place. Cheating, sure, yeah, but I did actually play it. I actually did play. It was just a bit sloppy, and this just cleaned it up a bit. You know what I mean? So, or even a lot of it in some places. Other times I actually went out and like drew every single note. Sometimes it just take me hours to draw each and every little note. Especially like on a tom fill or something like that, and you gotta do like fuck, drawing that out takes a while, man. Especially to get it like the rise and fall and the velocity so it sounds right. It's not easy to do. That's why I prefer it like this. You can do it and it'll sound good. Even if you just have the one sound and the volume just kind of goes up and down, it won't sound quite as authentic, but it'll sound more authentic than a drum machine that's just like one solid doom 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 ta 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 ta. There's no other like so yeah. I got the kit that I got. So I built it up slowly but surely over time. It was pretty, I won't say garbage, but I mean it was a very cheap kit that started out like this 150 kit, which I have to thank my ex for getting me that. That was really cool for her to do that. That was like 2008, 2009. And she did buy a bunch of stuff that she got a big check back for some reason. I don't remember what, maybe it's school or something like that. But yeah, I got like a kick tower and a couple more pieces in my kit so that it completed it out. So I do appreciate that. But dude, going on Shop Goodwill and finding that one purchase, holy shit, that was incredible. That was nuts. Like it was. I already had like a really nice kit, but there were a couple pieces that weren't actually all Alesis. And I went on to Shop Goodwill, and they had like 4 pieces. It was two 12-inch toms, a 10-inch tom, and an 8-inch tom, a cymbal pad, and a cymbal arm. And then it had a cable, a connection cable for like one of the snake cables. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, but for a drum machine style snake cable. So it had that, and it was on Shop Goodwill, but it said pickup only. Gave it a chance. I contacted them. I was like, "Oh, you sure you can do? I really want this. Sure you can't do shipping?" And they're like, "Just checked. Yeah, man. Actually, the weight comes into class where we can actually ship it to you. So just go ahead and bid whatever you're gonna bid, and if you win, just add $20 to that, and we'll ship it for that much." I'm like, okay, because I knew that no one else would take the time to ask, "Hey, you sure you can't ship it?" So everybody would go by and just pick up only. Fuck that, I can't do that, and just kept going. So the price never went up. My bid was just bottom dollar, dude. It was ridiculous. I ended up paying like maybe $38, $48 max for two toms, the 12-inch toms. They're about like $100 each. And the 10-inch is like usually like 75, and the 8-inch is usually about 50. Cheap gear guy. And my kit is dope now, man. It's just dope. It looks like a big homogeneous kit. It's very nice. Very, very lovely. But it's laid out the way that the kit that I learned on, which was my old drummer's kit. 5-tom Pearl Export. And that reminds me of a great story. I don't know if you saw the one I was talking about, Jeff's building, but we were loading into Jeff's building one time to play a gig. And as we're going in, the other band's loading out. And we're making like a second or third trip to bring Opie's stuff in because it's a big kit. And their drummer, the band from the band before, was like a punk band, and they only had like, either had like 2 toms or 3 toms. And he's like, we're walking in, we got a bunch of shit in our hands, and like without breaking stride, the guys go, you don't need all that shit. And my drummer straight looks in his face and goes, "I only need what I want," and keeps walking. And I'm like, oh, fuck, yeah, dude, yeah. I just looked at him like, that's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. You got knocked the fuck out. I only need what I didn't even fucking break stride. I only need what I want, and just walked right past him. Shit. I only need what I want. We don't play the same music, dude. You play punk rock. We play more of like funky, progressive. I don't know. It was just a weird thing. Our bass player was into playing, slap and funk. I really wasn't. I mean, one of the reasons I didn't like Tool is because I didn't like Maynard's voice, and like on Sober, it just reminded me like it sounded like a really heavy band that had a kind of a whiny singer. It reminded me of me trying to sing for a band that was heavy, and it wouldn't work together. His voice is seasoned over time, and they seem to have like melded very well. I don't know if he never like sang that much, but I'm sure with time, just like my voice, I was kind of getting more and more grumbly and more like Sam Elliott there. When you need a box of Cheerios, you come on by the ranch and let me know. We just grow boxes of Cheerios out here. Yes, sir, I'm a certified cowboy on TV. But so they start sampling these drums for these programs like BFD and Tune Track and Addictive Drums and other ones, Easy Drummer, and they are marketing these drums to Easy Drummer is marketing to guitar players. Plain and simple, guitar players that don't really want to worry about dealing with the drummer and trying to teach them the parts and whatever. You can just either find the part in there, or when you find that something that's close to the match or whatever, adjust it in real time, like I was talking about, to fit your needs. So therefore, it really looks at the drummer as being pretty disposable, which is kind of very, very fucked up. You know, I don't know. I mean, you wonder why the drummers were, I won't say worry, but they a little intimidated by drum machines because it's just like this. Imagine like if you're a guitarist and even if you bring in like a whatever it is and it's just for like one song for whatever, it does the job like metronomically tight as fuck. And just no matter how hard a human tries, they will never be that tight. But that's what the beauty of music, if you actually listen to it. There are slight, imperfections in there that make it more attractive. More, you can tell that there is a live person back there playing because there's just like there's like four different instruments that are going along, and they kind of they use it like this, and they might just kind of they just kind of untighten up for a bit, and but they still, still a song, but for just a little, and those little fluctuations give it that feel of live, of real. That's how you know it's real because you can't. I mean, there's just no way to play or sing or drum or any of that shit unless you're a robot exactly the same. Exactly. Exactly the same. I'm not saying the exact same notes. Oh yeah, but I mean, you make the exact same performance. Layer them up. I like playing without listening to the other one, and then playing back to back, like with the same metronome and the same like starting points. That way, you there's the exact same piece and play them twice together. And then listen to them back. They will sound not pitchy, but they will sound a little out of step from each other, which gives it a very cool feel. It's called double tracking. If anyone doesn't know. But back to drums. This is their starting point basically. They're going more and more. Like I mean, if you pay attention to E-drums, which I do, I thought at least this was going to do a lot more. I was pretty disappointed with what they came up with because I've got an answer. What they need is more zones, right? I've got an answer. They're just doing it wrong. I'm not gonna say what it is, but I know it. Just like I know what would fix, like, make the any. So the foot controller I have is MIDI compatible. Is a MIDI foot controller. It's a Behringer, but the way it's set up is not set up the way that most companies that receive MIDI. Basically, you have to activate the. Crap! None of those are open, were they? No, good. They're all closed. Yay. You have to activate it and then stomp it to get it to activate. And most of them you just click on it and it activates. It does all that processing inside of the board. But I know the answer to solve that one too. It's not all that hard. But yeah, the Elisa Strike kit I think is or whatever the newest one. I wasn't lecturing him, but I contacted him and was kind of like, who the fuck let their last kit, whatever it was, get off production line in that fucked up red color without any other options? That's just rude. Dude, that's like saying, please don't buy my shit. Please don't buy our stuff. When the whole time the shell that they have, the design they have is just ripe for fucking making your own shells, or them being able to make you a custom shell and sell it, send it to you. They'll print it out, and it's exactly all you gotta do is just take a shit and put it in there. It's already got the cutouts and stuff. You just put it in the shell, and it wraps around the. You know, what I mean, it makes it look like it's a different color or whatever you want. Like, you know, if on Tuesday you're playing with a jazz band, you can get like a jazzy looking oyster looking shell for your kit. Then you have another kid, another band you jam with is more of a rock band on, you know, whatever day you jam with, whoever you jam with. I feel like getting one of those TC Tuggers from, see, it just wrinkles all this shit up because I don't, everything's all, there we go, that's better. We'll just leave it alone there. Because everything's backwards. He doesn't do right, man. He doesn't do what I tell him to do. Now I'm okay. Now I'm not freaking out anymore. It might be, yeah, Asperger's, and this is still getting me though. There we go. Yeah, but there's a whole like, you know, the drums are an amazing instrument, and if it was if you do it right, it could both be both an acoustic drum kit and an electronic drum kit very easily, very easily. I mean, like I said, unfortunately, unless you have some kind of connection somewhere, or you know, like if my band started taking off, something like that, then they'd probably actually listen to me about my idea, like what, you know, what kind of things do I need? Because like, you know, Elisa's finds out I'm using Elisa's drum kit, then I'll be like, hey, you want to get the new drum kit? And like, actually, no. Actually, I prefer the DM10 to that kit. You haven't tried it? Yeah, but I know the features of it, and I know I don't like it. Because their kit that they have doesn't allow for the expansion that I would need. Just doesn't. So, pass. But I have some plans if you want to, like, if you want to start the, like an Equinox version of the, like, there's the Alesis Equinox. But there has to be a budget line, intermediate line, and a pro line, so that everybody can get in. The drum brain sounds are all the same, even if the module isn't the same. The way they screwed over people in with the MIDI back in the day, of course, there wasn't any wireless, whatever, so it was all cabled up. And so MIDI was such a beautiful thing because it's this universal musical language of just hitting, like I said, hitting the right notes. So you could make a virtual saxophone. They have that, and you can blow into like the reed, and the reed can tell how hard you're blowing into the reed, and then your fingers where they're what they're playing. And then as long as you have a saxophone, if someone like sampled the saxophone, it sounds like you're playing a fucking saxophone. But if you use that and decide to play like a guitar, you're basically playing guitar, but you're triggering a guitar with the saxophone. Like anyone in the audience would even give a shit on the record, you know what I mean? Um, yeah. Um, but you need to have connectivity because MIDI could do on one cable 16 tracks, 16 individual channels, 16 individual instruments, foot pedals, synthesizers, whatever you need to do, up to 16 channels. So if they had kept going with it, they possibly could have created like a MIDI guitar like they're doing now with the strings. It still has strings and you still play it and whatever, but it has more of a MIDI pickup than an actual electronic pickup. I mean, a sound pickup. And by now it'd probably be accurate as shit, and it would probably be just like a regular guitar. Only you could play any VST virtual instrument. If you could play guitar, you could play piano, you could play any instrument out there. But in their greed, corporate America decided to chop off MIDI out, MIDI in. You can see in the back most of the places where there's a place for it, and they just closed it off. They just never opened it up. The companies that had designed it to have MIDI in and MIDI out, so that you can connect. You can do what the daisy chain, and this brain goes to that thing, goes to that thing, goes to this thing, and like the drums are on channel 10 almost always, and this fucking controller can be on 1, and that fucking controller can be on like 7, and then that amp right there can be on like 4. And, you know what I mean? So you got 16 channels, and I got a bass one, then you got another guitar one. And if you had a woodwind guy, you know what I mean? So you got all these things, and it's all virtual. It's not real. None of it is actually heard outside of the headphones unless you have speakers. And that's where you would need the hybrid part of the reality, where you need real speakers to turn that sound into something people can hear. But I would not doubt if concerts more and more start going towards Bluetooth. That way you can adjust the volume to be whatever you want it to be. The band's still on stage, they're still jamming, they're still, you can crank it as loud as you want to. And then if you want to be like on the floor, it'll actually have like if you want the real experience, they might have actual band, equipment on whatever. But if you're out in the crowd anyways, it'd just be better sound for you anyways. If you could just get the Bluetooth and you could just adjust it to your volume that you want to hear it at. Wouldn't it? Then they don't have to do all that relaying of the bass signal and making sure the delays and all that other shit. Fuck that, dude. You just bring in your earbuds, and if it has like a delay, I mean a Bluetooth relay type thing, so that everybody can just walk in, just put in your earbuds, and it just pairs up automatically. If you have auto pairing, it automatically pairs up. If nothing else, have it something like the phone app. You know what I mean? So that way you can. If nothing, that would be pretty good, wouldn't it? Because then you have to your phone's busy streaming the audio, so you can't be recording, can you? No. People bring a second one. Like, you're only allowed one phone. Sorry. And wouldn't that be great? You filmed the concert. The headphones are, you don't hear the strings at all. You just hear the amp and everything that's going through the mixing board, and everyone's like, yeah. As you break out your camera to film it, like, yeah. That's not cool at all. I mean, it's cool that I can hear it when I can hear it. It was like, now that I'm stopping, everybody's just nodding along to nothing. There's not really the band's down there, and those guys in front have reason to be doing that. But what are we doing out here? You can't even hear it back here, except for the Bluetooth earbuds. A man can dream. A man can dream. You leave me the fuck alone. He's got a soul. He's got a boy's soul. But it sounds like you're saying boy's hole. All right. Charlie's face. Gotta pay the toll to get in. But yeah, the mobility of drums, the ability for it to do. Okay, check this out. When you're in the studio recording, you generally tune the kit because you have time, you have downtime, and so you can do that. You can tune the kit for the song. So even if you use the same kit for the whole album, to keep it homogeneous, which I don't like to do that. It gets kind of old to me. So I try to swap it up. I mean, I have BFD and I have every expansion pack that's been made for it that's available for it. I think the Drum Drops had some. I've got like two of their packs, but I don't think they folded. But they definitely don't do business with BFD anymore. I don't think. And so yeah, I've got like 72 expansions, so I've got hundreds of kicks, hundreds of snares, and I can just choose, after I've laid the performance down, how I want the sound to sound. And I mean, it's dope, dude. It's really, really cool. Because while it's playing back, I can be auditioning different snares, kicks, hi hats. There we go. Yeah, that's what I need. No, I need like a more of a metal kind of sounding. Pang. Let's look up a piccolo. Okay, yeah, there's like a whole list of piccolos. What about a wooden snare? What about a metal snare? Yeah, I mean, I've got a whole packs of metal snares and wooden snares. It's crazy, man. It's so dope. It's so dope. Oh, it's just too good. It really is. It's too good. And yeah, so I mean, you can, like I said, from a producer standpoint, you can sculpt all those sounds exactly how you need for each song. What I'm talking about, you'd be able to make that into in my drum version. You'd be able to make that as a preset you make on your in the DAW. Once it was all set up, and you send that to the drum brain. Therefore, you have the studio. If the sounds are at least comparable, like I mean, I can understand like the studio has like the deep, heavy, really good waves, but at least like a pretty good MP3. You know what I mean? It's been compressed, that's for sure. But it's not lossless, but it's not definitely there's no artifacts. The average person wouldn't be able to tell the difference, especially for a drum module like that you can take with you. The main thing is, like I said, the preset of how all the drums are set up and tuned is the same. So when you play it back on there, it's basically the same thing. Same with the guitar sounds. Once you set up the guitar sounds and set up everything, if you had the amp had the same inside brain as the what you're using in the computer. When you set up whatever, when you make the adjustments to the sound, the sculpted for the sound, you just save it as a sound file, whatever for the name of the song, and it stores it onto here. And you could have like a list. You could have like you have the user presets, but you could have also a song presets, and that would give you like all the difference. Like when you have a song, you got like the different like you need the bridge, you need the chorus, you need the whatever it is. You go from distortion to clean, and yeah, and that would work for the bass, and that would work for everybody. The vocals, if they had a vocal processor that they brought in with them, they would have like a volume pedal, so that way you could like turn the effects. You can roll the effects up and down. You know what I mean? So it rolls up to full effects, like for the chorus and stuff, and then you can roll it back, or like when there's a really sparse part, like when you're singing, and you can be, oh, and the voice can be just echoing out, and then you can just roll it off, and then when you talk to the crowd, it just stops any of that delay, any of that shit. It's just your voice, maybe a little bit of reverb like this one has right now. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, you know, you don't want all that shit going. But like, this is our next song, and then you just like click through your little foot pedal thing until you find the song that you're gonna be playing. You're ready to go. Everybody's ready to go. But you know, the singer tends to vamp and how's everybody doing tonight? While he's doing that, the drummer's loading up the next song. The drummer's like cycling up is loading all the samples and stuff it needs for an exact mix, exactly like it was on the studio. For everybody on stage, everybody, like the bass player, he's loading his, the guitar players, and singer's loading his while it's, you know what I mean? And so just a little bit of amp, you know what I mean, between, like they do already. And if you look back, and the drummer's kind of like, hey man, who's high out there? Who's fucked up out there? You know what I mean? Just, just vamp with the crowd a little bit longer. Drummer goes like that. He's ready to fucking jam. All right, this next song is, and he's got to start it off. And it sounds just like the album. Because it's mixed exactly like it was in the album, like in the studio. You're taking it from studio to stage. You just need a clean PA to broadcast it out to people. That's why I said hybrid. You need a clean sounding PA that would not feed back or anything like that can just crank. And or be able to broadcast Bluetooth from the mixing board to the people like you have a regular PA for the people in the front that want a standard traditional kind of concert going on. So it's a hybrid concert even. The people in the back usually are looking at the Jumbotron or whatever anyways. They really can't, the people are like this big, you know what I mean? They're just tiny. They just look tiny. And then unless you're looking at the Jumbotron. And then on top of that, the sound is like late hitting you. I'd rather have a Bluetooth earbuds, man, that are in time with what they're doing on stage. Or if anything, just like a little bit behind. Because I was at a Screaming Trees concert and it was such a bad, so nosebleed and so, bad acoustics that when Barrett would hit the snare, I saw his hand go down. Pow, pow. I'm like, God damn, there's that much latency from the speed of sound can't get here that fast. What in the fuck? It was a great concert. I mean, you could hear the sound. It was just coming late. And the sound was really garbled because of it just wasn't designed for that. And this would you could even, I mean, you could, if you wanted to, off the board, if it had the right thing, you could even sculpt a listening environment for your earbuds. You could sell them at the door, already charged. You know what I mean? The ones I got are fucking dope, man. They're like $30, and they just, I mean, I try to kill those things. They just won't die. You just wear them for like 3 days. I have to like leave them out of the case for, you know what I mean, until they just drain completely out. And then just keep cycling them through that. Because if I'm going somewhere and staying for a couple of days, I like to have my shit fully charged. Because I mean, those things will last fucking. I charged them not too long ago. A couple of days ago. I've only used a couple hours. I mean, after about like just sitting around for 2 days, the case was still charged at 100%. And then I used it for like 2 hours, and then I put them back in the case and took it out. It didn't get, I don't think it might have got down to 80. It's fucking nuts, man. If you use it for all 6 hours. But think about that. I mean, if in that case right there like that, the drummer could easily have Bluetooth earbuds himself. And everybody on stage could if they wanted to, and that way they don't have to do it. They could be noise canceling, so that way it can be whatever volume you need in your ear. It doesn't look really stupid or anything like that, you know. Besides that, though, if you look stupid, so does the audience. You know, I mean, the audience must look stupid, but that way the stage can be loud if necessary from the PA hitting the audience that wants a regular, concert experience. But you're hearing it at a controlled environment where you don't blow your ears out. You're not blowing your voice out because you're not coming. The louder the music, the harder you sing to try and out. Is to sing louder, and the more chance you are of blowing your voice out. Whereas if you have it controlled, you can go a lot higher. I mean, it's just a lot easier to. In a controlled environment, it's a lot easier Sing where everything's balanced, so you're not putting a lot of effort. You're putting more of you're focusing more on the notes than trying to make yourself heard. Just makes sense. You want enough that you have to push a bit, so that way you are. It seems like you're trying. You know what I mean? You don't want to be like, oh, no, and like not pushing at all. But and as I said, whether you like it or not, unfortunately, I mean, to say that e-drums aren't the future is like, as long as the timeline keeps going the way we're going, it's going to be the future. Because saying it's not is like saying that the people that probably when electric guitars started coming out, it's a gimmick that'll never catch on. So what? It gets a little bit louder. Can do this. No, because it doesn't need kids. You gotta have an amp, and if you don't have an amp, what are you gonna do then? Huh? Smart guy with your electric amp. What are you gonna do then? That's never gonna catch on. Oh wow! I can make the little rotary sound like a church organ. It is a cool effect, but trust me, mark my words. The acoustic guitar is not going anywhere. Technically, it hasn't, but it's kind of lost its. You're kind of hard pressed to find a band that's just all acoustic. You know? Even Days of the New were partially electric by the fact they had to mic the equipment enough, for the audience to hear it. An acoustic guitar competing with a drum set? Get the fuck out of here. Even with rods or mallets, man. Even brushes. That kick drum hits one time, man, it's over. Says we're reconnected. I've got internet problems. The internet's going kind of kooky out here, so it's probably going to keep doing that. I'm just going to go ahead and log out, but yeah. Time keeps going the way we know, as we know it, There's really no way for it to not go that way. The convenience, the ease, the weight, the on and on. And as it starts to take more shape towards that direction, more drummers can go like, this is actually playable. This is actually playable. I'm like, dude, if you would have been helping from the beginning by saying what was not playable about it, we could have got here a lot faster. Instead of just like, no, it doesn't feel right, and get it like, why not? No, don't like it. Drummers are weird, man. Fuck, they're weird. I love them, but fuck, they're weird. They are weird, but then you gotta consider the fact that they take an abstract thing like time, which does not exist, and then divide it into beats per minute, and then subdivide that into like what this hand can be doing per beats per minute, and this hand can be doing something else per beats per minute, and this foot can be doing something else per beats per minute, and this leg can be doing something else. Sometimes working in tandem, and other times just doing weird, just like off time. It's I've never met a sane drummer. They're all fucking nuts. Think about it, they want their instrument of choice is bang the fuck out of. It's not like, shred guitar, bust a tasty lick, slap that funky bass. No, beat the shit out of you, then you, then you. Then we beat the shit out of you. I'm beating the shit out of you while I'm beating the shit out of you and you. Stomping you and smashing you. Even worse, I'm going to make it sound beautiful. And my movements are going to be fluid, and you're going to go, wow. Look at him beat the shit out of those drums. It sounds so good when he beats the holy shit out of those drums. Not myself. Chad Smith, Neil Peart, Dave Abruzzese, Matt Cameron. On and on. But I think because I play drums, I understand them a little bit better. So yeah, they're a weird breed. Man, to take him to the, like I said, to get him over to the promised land of the electronic drums, you gotta drag him kicking and motherfucking screaming. And then once you get him in there, I explain like, okay, you know, you guys sometimes say the track and you don't quite, you know, yeah. Okay, well, instead of having to relay that over and over and over again until you just lay it one time. What? If you fuck it up, just keep going. We'll take care of it. What? If you fuck up, just keep going. Okay. And then they play the song like, yeah, but it's got that and then you go through the MIDI thing and you drag it. He's like that. Like, yeah, but I wanted to. Okay, would you like to just play that little part right there real quick? Yeah. And then the rest of the song takes off, and then like, it was that easy. Yeah, we just patched you in. But there's no way it's gonna sound, and it just sounds fluid and seamless, like it was all one performance. It's that easy. You know what? I would actually like to change that fill entirely to something else. Sure. Okay. I had a different idea for that chorus break. Okay. We'll just cut that out and you can just go ahead and re-record it, whatever you're thinking. We'll at least cut it and put it into a different place so that we have it on file. Because it's, you know, it works, but we'll try your idea there real quick. It won't hurt anything. So, and once they start seeing that, then they're like, oh shit. Like, yeah, oh shit. Mostly it's just, it helps you with like the mundaneness of like, dude, okay, so like BFD, for example, has already set the mics. These are Grammy winners, man. They set the mics up in the studio in these Grammy winning recording studios. You know, they produce hit records out of these things. They use the monitor speakers, the mixing board, and everything they would use for making a great sounding album for the best people. And the thing is, Jim Scott's still alive. Andy Johns has passed. Joe Barresi is still alive. But if done right, especially in the time frame, like if I can get the thing, they can basically will be making music with us forever. Because if they sample like a good drum kit that sound, I mean, even if you get like 4 or 5 producers to record the exact same drum kit using the exact same equipment, you're not going to get the exact same results. So you could set up the drum set ready to be mic'd and everything, and then have one producer come in, record that drum kit like Joe Barresi. He'll tune it the way he feels it needs to be tuned and whatever. And he sells the Joe Barresi, you know, whatever kit it is, like Gretsch or whatever. And then whatever the packs are. I would say sell them by the kit. That'd be probably the best way to do it. Instead of by the piece. And that'd probably be best to sell like cymbal packs also. Like, you know, like a whole rack of cymbals. You know what I mean? You get like, you know, a ride, 2 rides, a china, 2 hi-hats, like 2 crashes. Because they can go anywhere. And then so you buy that pack, and then you buy another pack that's like it. Now you've got 4 rides, 4 hi-hats, several crashes and chinas, you know. And then when you buy the drum kits, it's just the shells. And then you can sell snare packs, and then you can sell kick drum packs if you wanted to. But it'd probably be best to sell the shells and the kick together. They're probably the best, but you could also have like bonus kick drums because in studio, it doesn't matter what it looks like as long as it sounds good. So they will often swap out the kick drum and the snare in studio to give it a different sound. They'll use a whole different kit, but then you have to like either take all that shit with you on tour. See, my kit has like has 5 toms, so I can turn the first tom, the highest one, turn this one to like a cowbell or something, whatever. Then if I wanted a 3 tom, like a regular standard kit like you usually see, turn this one into some other percussion. But these are still percussion, so they're still sitting. It's the same kit, but now I've got like these can be percussion. This can be a bongo and a conga. The other option would be to drop this one, which would give you a 2 tom kit, which would be like a jazz kit. And you get snare, kick snare, tom, ride, cymbals. And now you got 3 percussion pieces. That can be whatever you want them to be. Whatever that song needs. If that song needs like a big, huge fucking china gong, play with a mallet. One of those pieces can be whatever you need. And I do. I've got like 40-inch fucking gongs, man. Play with mallets, sticks. I think they might have hit. I don't know if they hit it with their hands. There's different cymbals that they like dipped in water. They hit them and then dipped them into water. So it's fucking crazy ass sounds. And that can be on my kit anywhere. And then, like I said, for that one song, and the next song, without having to change my kit at all, I can change my entire kit. Yeah. This song has like 4 toms. The next song needs 3 toms. The next song needs 5 toms. The next song needs 2 toms. Whether I hit the other ones or not is irrelevant. They're there if I need them, like shakers and whatever. So if I get into like an improv type jam, I've got some percussion pieces. You know what I mean? That kind of shit. Just do kind of crazy stuff. I hate the winter. I get so fucking itchy because I get dry skin and all lotions. I mean, man, they make me break out so bad. I don't know what it is, man. My skin's got really sensitive really recently. Getting old, I guess. I don't know how you get sensitive skin to lotion as you get older, but yeah. Like I use black soap. African black soap. Oh man, it smells so fucking good. Shea butter, if you get a chance, if you smell it at the store, like, fuck yeah. It smells good. Very natural. Doesn't make my skin break out. Actually clears my skin up really well. So back to drums. That mobility, the fact that my drum kit, as big as it is, if I wanted to move the whole thing all at once, I just have to get like, I could probably do it by myself, but it'd be difficult. It wouldn't be hard, but it wouldn't be easy. Not like one of the small ones, like like a 3 tom or 4 tom. Mine's 5 tom. I've got 7 cymbals, a hi hat, a second snare. So yeah, the snare's on its own stand. So if I had another person, we could easily pick it up and just move it the fuck out of the way and just whatever it needs to be. The next other thing that would be great about it is more drummers that are on it, the more drummers that actually play on eKit. Imagine the setup for a festival. And no need to tear down all those mics, set it for the next band, put up all those mics, tear it down, bring in the next band, set up all those mics. It's one kit. Here you go, man. Yeah, BFD. Yeah, there you go. And it's just the sound guy has BFD, and he just loads this into his thing, and it's got the presets that you need. And it has the set list in there already in the order. All he has to do is bring it over into the thing. BFD then loads it as it sounded in the studio, and you're just triggering it from the stage. The cool thing is, if you break a head or something like that on an E kit, it's not going actual on sound. So as long as you can make contact with the strike surface, just keep on playing. It's the benefits outweigh the negatives so hard that it's really pretty ridiculous. And those negatives are just kind of like it doesn't, and they'll get to it slowly but surely. And again, the more people that actually help out, the faster it'll get there to sounding right and feeling right and being, and then eventually like, oh yeah, then this is something I could play this actually looks real, feels real, and whatever. Yeah, and it would have got there a lot faster if you said it and just walked away when it didn't feel right or look right. You just said it doesn't feel right, doesn't it? This will never work out, and walked away. And so the slow, steady climb to get to realistic enough for a drummer to take. Like, this is. I could do this, you know. Yeah, I could use this. This is pretty good. And like you said, the ease and yeah, I could do this. What else needs to be done? Okay, the cymbals are not okay. Good. We can use it. What should we do? I don't know. It needs to have more. Blah 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 blah. The tracking is not quite exact. Okay, good. What? It seems like when I'm doing like ghost notes, it's not quite getting the. See, you hear? It's not like you see how my drum is bouncing. Oh gosh, it's not tracking. Yeah, it's like it's not tracking 32nd or higher notes, maybe even 64th notes. We'll work on that. Maybe we need a faster processors, and I don't know. Maybe the coding is wrong, but these are real world realism things that they can talk about. Like, well, how's the feel? I don't really like the rubber pads. I prefer like the drum shells and stuff like that, and then they come up with like the mesh heads. That kind of like, yeah, it's kind of. I mean, it bounces too much, but it's better than that dead. I've got a solution to it for that also, which is really cool. But and it'll appease both people. So yeah, um, there's just so much I wish I could talk about, and I mean I could, I guess, but it would be just kind of like giving away the. I've got it all written down, so it doesn't matter, if I should pass or something, they'll be available. The more I film these, the more I think about that, like how these are just in such a short time of doing the blogging that it should have a good record of if something should happen. Again, I'm out here in the country, and I'm in the country. I'm walking Kingsley by myself. I don't have a great heart. I have atrial fibrillation, so. And then the doctor said I could go into AFib in my sleep while I'm sleeping through a blood clot and have a stroke, and just like I said, out here by myself, who would ever know? Not in time. No one ever calls. No one ever comes by. So I mean, it'd be days, man. It'd be well. It'd be a long time for anybody even knew. So, um, but this is like a good record, you know what I mean? And I've got some interesting. It's not based on training or anything like that is based on fumbling through the dark. And I think my mixing technique has gotten pretty good. Now it's just a matter of getting the accuracy of the frequencies. And I'm using these Behringer Truth monitors, and they sound great. I'm using these, and they sound great. And I'm using like a room correction for these that actually has a profile for these, and it does really good job. But it's not 100%, and it just never will be. It won't be the same as doing it in a actual listening environment with actual, like, the $1,000. But for what I've got, I'm getting pretty good results. Um, I learned to trim some of the high end off there, so it's just a little bit sharp. Um, but yeah, I would like to record my process. You know what I mean? How I do it, because it's not anywhere I've ever seen. It's just, like I said, it's little tidbits I've learned by mixing and matching stuff I've learned from Joe Barresi, from watching tutorials on how to run compressors, and just different stuff. So that's why I want to do it. I'm going to find one of my songs. Probably, like I said, I'll probably do Quinn Rose if I do that as like a whole. But I could just do it faster. I might remix one of my older songs, and then just I want to mix it with the effects that I would normally use. So I show that, how it sounds, and then I want to strip it all the way down again, and then remix it using free plugins, like slowly but surely. As I get to each one, just instead of this EQ, we're gonna get rid of that. We're gonna put in this EQ. You can get this EQ, and you look in the description. It shows you where you can get the free EQ, and then and Analog Obsession. They pretty much have everything you need. As far as that goes, it's free. I mean, you can. I want to join the subscription thing. Um, Sorry, I'm really stoned. I'm starting to get a little bit tired. Um, I want to help him out because he does some really great work, and I want to be able to do that. You know what I mean? Just to focus on that, and yeah. There's the thing is like yeah. Anyways, there's just so many good causes, and people in need of stuff. You know what I mean? Like there's modder groups. They're like modding Skyrim and other games like Far Cry and stuff like that to make their own games. And if they had the resources, they could finish it up way faster. But they have to work other jobs and other things they're doing, and other people don't want to donate their time. And or when you're talking about free, it's like it's very flighty. People are very like, well, I'm doing it free, so they just feel like they can do whenever they want to. There's no time limit. There's no need. There's no urgency, whatever, because they're giving you something. But it's hard to find people that are like as interested in your project as you are. And if you can, man, I mean, definitely work with those people, because it gets really fucking good when you got people working together. Um, but most people just want to be kind of like either the star or whatever. It's hard to work with that, because they worry every time somebody starts to shine a little bit around them, you know, and that's just not good. There's more than one star in the sky, you know. Which one's the brightest? I don't know, really. If you focus on one, you know what I mean? It's like how close are you to each star? This is kind of what depends on how bright it is, doesn't it? Technically, you want to be technical about it. Um, Dude, if that was a seat, that would rule. No, I'm kidding. Um, Sorry, this is the one that makes my head kind of funny. So that's what I was saying. If it was a seed, it would roll. Um, Once I get the idea down to get more zones, whatever they come up with to tackle the multi-zone issue, whether it's I think they can get about 3 zones per cable, whether it's running 2 cables and having like 6 zones per drum. Whether it's using my system that I'm talking about, which completely revamps everything, which is they don't really like to go back to the drawing board, even if it's for a better thing. They just really don't. Unless it's like it's so groundbreaking that it's going to put everything on its ass and put everything on its head. And what I'm saying is basically like some of the top drum kits that are out there now, at least their functions and stuff like that, that would be our, if I got my drums going, that would be our lowest model. Our lowest model would have about 4 zones per drum, I think is what I factored out. Something like that. And then the medium, yeah, the medium would have like 6 zones, and the pro version could have up to 15. But 12 easily, 12 very easily. Um, yeah. When I get if I got that down, and I thought today of how to get the there's a lot of stuff you can't do, like when you put your stick on there and then you like, start hitting the head and then you apply pressure, so it makes the sound, the tom, either go up or down. You know what I mean? Because you put more tension on it. That's something that e-kits can't do. I mean, they can, but they're not thinking of how to. That's why. If they were smart, I mean, it's pretty simple, and I can show them how to do it. And if they thought about it, actually would make more sense to do it because the the randomness of it would almost make infinite round robins off of one sample. So if you had multiple samples, imagine how many round robins you'd have. So yeah, I think a lot about a lot of stuff. You know, um, just how to how to tweak things and make things better and how to make it all more work together harmoniously. Um, it's just I don't know. Feels like almost like a need to do it to work out the equations and shit. Thing is, I'm usually right, but like nobody will listen, and then someone comes up with like a lamer version of what I was talking about. And everybody goes, "Oh my God, it's groundbreaking." I'm like, mine had so many more features, dude. You don't even fucking. If that's groundbreaking, go fuck yourself. Jesus Christ, man. That doesn't even do a quarter of what I had. It just starts to scratch the surface of what my idea was. Unless you're trying to Walkman it, where you give the Walkman, then it's got the Walkman with the tape player. And you got a Walkman with tape player and radio, because you had one Walkman that had radio and one Walkman that had tape player. And now it's got Walkman and radio, and now you got that Walkman with the tape player and the radio only had fast forward, like a fast forward and rewind. And another model comes out with fast forward, rewind, and record. And you got built-in microphone. Yeah, I mean, just all these little subtle, little slow, corporate, capitalistic fucking knives in your goddamn throat as soon as you get a fucking one you're happy with. soon as you get like, 55, 65 inch plasma TV sale, 75 inch plasma TV, you know what I mean, or whatever, half the price of what you just paid. Well, shit, I kind of almost have to go get one just because, I mean, fuck, it's even better price than what I paid. This was on sale already, and that's even better price for a bigger one. I could always put this one in the bedroom. It is still new. Buy that shit. New fucking round the world glasses that make you see 3D shit, and porno makes you feel like she's touching you. Now, come on, how much is that? The one that doesn't touch you is 5,000. How much is it? You don't want to know. You don't make that much. It hasn't got to your level yet, peon. You just wait. Right now, we're gonna bilk the Mark Zuckerbergs and shit. They yeah. And capitalism once again screws everything over, just like they didn't want you to have the outputs of the MIDI. You had to buy a certain level of their product, whether keyboard or drum set, in order to get a MIDI in. It would have MIDI out, so you could send the signal from your machine out, but it couldn't be part of the fucking loop, therefore excluding you from, you know what I mean? And they didn't make any kind of like box that was like a bandpass that would let you, you know what I mean? Like merge, a MIDI merge. I mean, I think they have MIDI mergers, but they're not exactly cheap because no one's really doing that. You know what I mean? No one's really even bothering with MIDI because of what they did. And it's just absolutely atrocious what they did, because it would be so cool to have right now. I mean, especially like, I mean, MIDI information is so small. It's so tiny. So like, if I had BFD and the drummer had BFD, basically all you have to do is monitor on his side and then send not the sound, but the trigger of what he's playing, which is just these little tiny little files, smaller than text files, smallest text files, if not smaller. So it'd be like fucking rapid, fast as shit. So he would be triggering my BFD on my side in real time. And if I have a keyboard, I'd be triggering whatever thing he has on his side in real time. It'd make talking, like remote work, so much easier. So much easier. I'd probably get better on the keyboard just to do that. I mean, because right now they don't have a really good MIDI guitar. But they have guitar sounds that sound pretty good for your keyboard. So I would do that, and I'd probably just learn how to do like power chords. Actually, this is my hand for doing that, isn't it? That's why this one can do so well. No wonder this one doesn't want to do. Actually, no, this one does. This one does do scales very well. This one doesn't ever want to do shit. That's right. Motherfucker. I was right. I don't know. Anyways, which is weird because it just, it does that. But when I get here, it just does, no, we do it this way. Oh, yeah, we can do this. Like I said, maybe I should cross my hands. Anyways, show off. I can't play guitar I can't play piano any other fucking way. My brain gets confused. But yeah, this is going on long enough, so I'm gonna go ahead and call it quits. But I do, like I said, I do want to do some recording. I do want to do some recording tutorials and stuff. Again, it's not much I can show, but I mean, as I said, there was a loudness wars, and there's a reason why they didn't tell us who the winner was, because it's a fucking disgrace. But yeah, that's neither here nor there, is it? So I'm gonna head on out. Eat drums. Whether you like it or not, you better learn to love it, because there's the hottest thing going tomorrow. You heard me. So have a good night. Have a good morning. Um, if it's nighttime where you are, spokojnej noche. And if it's morning, dobronej utra. Dobronej utra.